Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, I can't help but have my arm in it. I'm sorry. Here we go. So it's Monday. This is our weekly live. Hi. Yay, Christine. Okay, so for those of you who are in the YouTube live, let me know when you're here. Leave a little comment. Instagram. Hi, Kayla. Say a little hi. Give a wave. A little couple emojis. We'll let everybody kind of gather and sneak in. I'm gonna go turn the air conditioner off because it's kind of loud. Is that okay? Can you guys hear it? I don't know if you can hear it or not. Hi. Okay, so hi, Paula. We're gonna do some community housekeeping the way we always do at the beginning, and you guys can't hear it. Well, then I'll leave it because then it's not so blazing hot in here. Okay, good. Then I won't get up. Kayla, I understand what you said. I knew what you meant. Hi, Charlotte. Okay, so if we can't hear it, I'll just keep going. It's summer schedule, so Mondays we will definitely be meeting for our weekly tarot. There might be one or two where we don't meet on Monday, we meet on Tuesday. But if you're on YouTube, you click the bell, you get the alert, you know when I'm live. I will be live once a week. Through July. Then in August, I'll be live once a week on Mondays, every Monday. But hopefully the plan is that'll be from Spain. So the time may change a little bit, but I'm committed to being present for you. So you will have your weeklies. Hi, Carla. You will have your weeklies one way or the other all the way through the summer. So I'm going to just mirror them on Instagram and YouTube. As always, I mean, it's been 6 years of this. Social media platforms change and algorithms change and what people see shifts. And I'm really just trying to best serve you all and find a way this year in particular and through next for us to gather live as a community if you want to, right? And the beauty of YouTube is that other people can stumble upon us and perhaps find their wellness tribe and their wellness home. And the other beauty of YouTube is that you all can watch it after the fact, which most of you all do on your own time, and still get the information that you want and the guidance that you want. There's always an issue with platforms of like who's watching, trolls, like weird connections, and we've had them all. I'm not going to change anything as far as a platform for our lives, other than we will mostly meet on Mondays through August. I'll mirror on both Instagram and YouTube, and we'll just kind of see what shakes out, okay, if that sounds okay to everybody. Tiny little note on Instagram, because this is the way of the world. Algorithms changed again. They're doing a couple different things. We don't need to get into it. But if you like my content on Instagram, if you all like seeing me in your feed, please comment on the posts in my profile. You guys all are watching the Instagram stories like gangbusters, and I love that and appreciate it. Thank you so much. But there's been some shifts in the last couple of weeks where it's like nobody's seen anything. And so even if I put up a post, it's like, hey, if you see this, it's like nobody's seen it. So what's the point? So I'm saying it here in the lives that if you guys like the content that I put out there, if it's helpful, if it's inspiring, if it's motivating, it kind of keeps things on the track, then please comment on the post. The likes are wonderful and really useful, but I really want you all engaged. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling with what I'm posting. If it's like totally not relevant to why I follow you or Unicorn Wellness, then help me with that also. Okay. That's, I think, a lot of the housekeeping. Okay, then we go into the basics of last week and this week. So tiny little recap of some of the astrology and the energy and the feels that we're all dealing with. Hi, Jen. I see you, Pearl. Okay, so last week we had the sun enter Cancer, so it's Cancer season. Yay! Happy birthday, my little crabs. I will go into more detail about that in the newsletter. That's just around the corner for Cancer season. Mercury entered its shadow phase. It was Friday or Saturday, depending on where in the world you are. So we're not in Mercury retrograde yet, right? Y'all know my, yay, little crabs, right? So we're not in Mercury retrograde yet, but we will spend a significant portion of the summer there in the Northern Hemisphere. meaning it's winter in the other side of the world. So my opinion of it is that the shadow phase is the most challenging phase. If you start following these cycles, you'll be able to self-check in your own life, right? Like if you have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, sometimes you love Mercury retrograde because that's home. These energies are home to you and it feels comfortable and it actually feels easier. And you're like, yeah, no, I get it. It's cool. But the shadow phase tends to be a little bit more challenging energetically from what I've witnessed and personally in my own life. So that means communication, technology, traveling, and so just slow down as much as you can. Give it some time to, buffer time, make sure you're editing, re-editing, looking at things. It happens 3 times a year. We look at it as a time to remind us to slow down and to be very clear and particular about our intentions, about our words, about where we're going, and how we get there, right? It doesn't have to be this like epic pain in the ass, but it's really fun to blame everything on Mercury retrograde. So just wait for the posts when it happens. Okay. So if you're feeling like communications are wonky, technology and travel things, transportation are becoming an issue, then we're right on track. Don't worry. Good morning, Cynthia. And I see you, Chris, and Sarah, and Vanessa. Hi. So Sun entered Cancer, Mercury entered its shadow phase. I try to keep those pretty timely in the Instagram feed as well, not so much in the stories. So that's something that you guys can go comment on. That would be great to help with all of that and the visibility of things. Those things, the big astrology really is to help support and motivate, like, hey, why do I feel like this? Why is this going on? Oh my God, why is everything falling apart? Why is it so hard right now? Because that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's the way it is. So take a step back from it. And we had the summer solstice. So we're in a new cycle. Like that's a portal and a gateway and a step through to new, fresh, right? This is like so we've had spring of like planting and little buds and sprouts. Summer is really like, can things shoot up a little bit more? Can we reap and a harvest sort of thing? Come the fall, really. So this is just more and to be of note. Any solstice or equinox is really about a fresh start and a new beginning, like looking at how things are going in these last, 3 months and going, how do I want them to go forward? Remember, it's about what we planted in the spring, and that could be weeds or that could be blossoms. So take a look at what's being cultivated in your own garden, okay? If you are new to unicornwellness.studio this month in June, so it's Pride Month, it's Pride all month long. So everyone who signs up as a new member, promo code or no code, okay? $4 of your first paid month subscription, I hope that makes sense, is being donated to the Audre Lorde Project. It's here in New York. It's here in Brooklyn, actually, supporting the LGBTQIA community. And I love Audre Lorde, always have been. Her quote has really been a guiding force in what I teach, as, personal self-care being a true active radical of feminism and activism. So join this month if you're hesitant. Like, just try the code. Like, it's really just a leap to the other side, and it is grounded in the movement patterns. All of the astrology, all the tarot, it's a full circle thing. But if you're coming just for the tarot, and that's great, bless you. But it really hits the concrete in a personal practice, personal transformation, personal self-care, and community care by getting on the mat. So if that's something that you haven't delved into yet, please take the leap this month in June, because there's a give component to it. So it's like everybody getting something out of it in a really constructive, healthy way. How often does that happen? So more housekeeping. The $33 3-card reading special is still available, right? All of June you can book. Yay, you're back on the VOD. I love it. Well, I guess on that note, I should say that there's a new video on the site today. So there's a new workout every 3 days, so 30 minutes long. This one is very like water oriented. It's called Sacred Waves. So there's a lot of mermaid variations. Vanessa, I'm eyeballing you. My mermaids out there. So I really love this series this month. And I know I say that, but they really are special as a collective. And you do need to be doing them every day or pressing play more days than not to get it, because they speak one to the next, right? You may not be wowed by one particular workout, but over the course of this 4-week cycle, right, from new moon to new moon, you really go, oh, I kind of get it. Okay, so these are really, they're special to me, and there's been a lot of unicorn series, like unique unicorn series. So the core series that I consider to be, specific to unicorn wellnesses are mermaid crunches or oblique mermaid crunches, floating hundreds, the diamond lower lifts. This is my spin and my take on the Pilates series of 5, but things that I feel are more accessible and actually more useful. Joseph's work is gorgeous, but that ability to play on that. So the last video that was up and this video of the day, like, don't miss these. Don't miss these, okay? And this isn't about guilt and shame. This is about, like, these are exciting, these are body changing, they are life changing, they are healing, and you don't want to miss it because it's fun, okay? But a lot of discussion about the spiders. So spiders and mermaids and unicorns, oh my. I want to hear what you all think of yesterday's workout and today's workout in particular. Today, tomorrow, and the next day. Yes, it's totally. So Cynthia says all of the water energy with a fire burn. You see me, mama. You see what I'm doing. So I talk a lot about that the workouts are written in accordance to the astrology of the moment, right? Of what's going on, how to balance it, how to harness it. So Cancer brings all of this water energy, right? It's the great mother, very emo, not quite to the scale of Pisces, but still, okay? And so crabs go between 3D earthly plane, earthly doing, food, water, shelter, and the water, psychic connection, intuition, knowing, flow, creativity. And so these workouts, I hope you're seeing the crazy creativity in them, the flow, and the cooling fire, right? Because water and fire make steam, and that allows us to, like, chug along. That's why those of us with a lot of fire in our chart should be minimal on our caffeine intake. This is my espresso. But we really should be with the cooling teas, because fire and water, tea, creates steam to chug along and makes our body happier. I'm so glad you guys are loving this week. And so in the private Facebook group, we hear this a lot, but I think it's important to share it in the public platforms too, of, like, what these movement patterns really look like, the sneakiness of them. Sometimes, and in history, I've heard it's not aggressive enough. And I'm like, well, that's not what we do around here. We do smart, we do intelligent, we do efficient, we go deep. I want you to have results. I want you connected to your body. I want bodies to change constructively, but I'm not going to beat you up. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to push you to the edge. I'm going to ask you to go places that you're like, not happening today. Maybe tomorrow. Okay. And if it doesn't work, we drop it and we move on. But these workouts are really, I love. So this goes in tune with the Cancer energy of water, but there's a lot of fire happening too, of summer, right? Okay, so the $33 sale is still going on for the 3-card readings. I see you booking those. Thank you. I don't know what the schedule looks like for June and July. I'm imagining it's still pretty full, but you can book these and stash them and use them in the fall, or just preemptively, like, hey, I'm taking, me personally, August off. So if you're like, I know I'm going to want a reading in September when you come back, book it for September. Like, that's okay. You have permission. Then what else? Checking comments. Yay, I know. And you guys are so excited about the readings. I love it. Readings have been really magical. I had an opportunity last night. Thank you, Sea Sprite Spoonie, Vanessa, facilitated, but it was really fun because I did single card readings for attendees. So know that I do have read online. I'm open to that. Any other places. It was pretty amazing. I mean, water energy offers us all the connection to intuition. So don't, side-eye Cancer season too much. There's a lot of wisdom to be gained here too in all of this watery energy. So that's, out there in the mix. What else for housekeeping? Wednesdays on Instagram, YouTube, listen up, Instagram, I'm going to go live with a guest on Wednesdays. It's probably around the 2 p.m. spot. So again, I'm not sure if this works to join me live. It will be there within 24 hours. This week, I have Brianna from the School of Betty. So she's a unicorn. Y'all know her in the private Facebook group. She does this killer, online program and coaching program for your finances. So like literally the area I don't handle, she does. But we're going to chat about resources because that's come up a lot in our readings of time, money, and energy. And she and I really overlap, and I'm going to let her kind of lead the brigade on that one of just some tips. Like in summer, it gets a little intense. There's multiple things going on. It's just hot, like, ooh, all the feels with it. So I thought it'd be a great time to talk about resources and have her as my guest. All right. The moons this week. Let's talk about the moons this week. I love the moons this week. Okay. So we have Aries into Taurus, then into Gemini. Aries and Taurus, what do they love best? Physical things. So get on the mat, right? The moon stays in these signs 2.5 days. So really we've got the goodness, the bulk of this particular week that's going to like body movement. That's going to be more inspired to move your body, to get more connected to the physical. So it's harder sometimes in the water signs to do that because we get all feely and we don't want to do that. We want to snuggle. But use these moons this week to be like, nope, I'm getting on the mat. I'm going to clean out these energies. I'm going to connect to my body. This idea of embodiment is not just an idea. It's powerful and it's empowering. So like today, Monday through Friday, really, Thursday, depending on where you are, like it's going to feel more like moving. So use it. Because when we hit Gemini gets a little distracted. Gemini needs it to get grounded, but you may not feel like working out this weekend, like you're going to have too many things going on that you want to do and that you want to explore. So use this week on the mat, okay? Okay, comments, questions from you guys before we get started with the reading. I'm trying to be good about sticking to an hour so that as we mirror on Instagram, Instagram gets all the goods of it. But how are you feeling? These workouts are getting a lot of wonderful feedback. So I want to hear about today in particular. And then we had a workout in there somewhere. I think I cursed. And then I forgot to call myself out for it. So if nobody said anything, I thought that was funny too. I was like, oh, nobody cares. They're used to it. So yeah. Okay. Everybody good? Want to get into the weekly reading? Okay. We're still in this hard press push of compression between Cancer and Capricorn. Universe is trying to create some diamonds. Okay. So I know I've heard from a good more than a couple handfuls of you. You're like, I am just not with the fun of this moon, the Sag energy. I think it's just really important to remember the moon's not alone. There's some other things happening, and that last full moon sat on the galactic center. That's no joke. Okay, we're just getting pushed and smashed and compressed and being asked to refine and stand up. And there's a bit of this, a lot of Nine of Wands happening, of standing your ground, protecting things, a trial of integrity. So I just feel like this is maybe a little struggle bus right now, like especially in the Mercury pre-shadow. Did you hear me right? Did I express myself right? You can go back and read. I've had some of those, just to be clear. If I wasn't clear before, I need to clarify because yours didn't sound clear, and let's make sure we're all on the same page. All right. Okay, y'all. I don't hear you talking, so let's go. Charmin Caselli deck. I finally learned the name of my brand new beautiful deck from New Orleans. She is loud and proud and really gorgeous in the readings lately, so we're going to use her today. Okay, here we go. So today is the 24th, if I can remember this correctly. This reading will last us through July 1st, so for this week. Remember to watch your monthly and your full moon reading on the site at unicornwellness.studio. This is another layer, right? So it is really beautiful to look at the overall of the month, then go into the 2 weeks of the new moon, then the 2 weeks of the full moon, and then to be able to do a little check of the weekly with me. Also note, you don't have to listen to all of them if it gets to be too much, because I hear some of y'all too are like, I can't keep up with all of it. The point is not to keep up with all of it. It's that if you want these things, they're here for you. They're resources. They're not have-tos. The have-tos are getting on the mat, pressing play on your meditation. I mean, if we're going to have a have-to. I want you all to all do the reset. Eventually, it's a have-to, but not right up front. And the tarot of listening to the major overlays of the monthly, the new, and the full, that's where the juice is. And then if you find that it's too much to go week to week, don't worry about it, okay? All right. Sarah, you're making your root veggie lunch while you listen. Yeah, that's a way to get grounded. I like it. Oh, good, Paula. A little struggle bus. I see you. And Vanessa's on the reset. I think we had a group of resetters. They've been a little quiet. Vanessa, you are still rocking it. Might call some of you guys out. Who's still doing the reset? Kayla, it's on your to-do list. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not pushing it so much anymore because everybody needs to come to it in their own time. But the reality is if you're a unicorn, you need to do it at least once just to have the experience and the understanding. That's all. That's it. Okay, here we go. So for the week of June 24th to July 1st, what's in store for us this week? Okay. Oh, universe, you're so witty sometimes. Okay. I also, there's questions I have for you all, but then I feel like I don't always hear back from you guys. I was putting the full card layout in the Instagram feed for a while, but then it seems to do better in the stories. Do you all have a preference as to where I post it so you can see it? There, I just asked you. How about that? Okay, spirit in which to move through things. Back to the the universe has got a lot of poking at us this week. Soul Space Oracle in the IG feed anywhere. Okay. Yeah, I feel that way too, Sarah, putting it in the feed so you can go back to it later. Even in the private Facebook group, it kind of gets lost a little bit. And, the Instagram stories. However, I'm going to tell you all, when I put it in the stories, it gets more visibility. I don't feel like... Okay, I will put it in the feed, you guys. I want you all to have your resources where it's comfortable, but will you please go comment on it when I post it? Please. Okay, so, and then the goddesses for this week. This is the goddess to call upon for protection, for inspiration. I always feel like this is a bit of the costume to wear for the week and, to the persona to take on in order to get us through from a strength-oriented space. Okay, I hear you guys. Okay, I'll put it back in the feed. Wow, okay, here we go. All right, your weekly reading. So the first card is like our theme of the week. This is where we're starting from. Also, again, if you're newer to these readings, just as a reminder, it's a 5-card spread. And because there are 5 weekdays, this energy is a little like a 48-hour to 72. So you could look at it in blocks of days too if you wanted to. But this is the overall of the week as well. So the space that we're starting from, the energy that we're starting from, but this is also the theme of the week. This is the Chariot. So this is Major Arcana. This is interesting. So Major Arcana is about soul and spirit lessons, right? This is about karma and leveling up in a different way. And I'm going to show it on Instagram too, hopefully in a way that they can see clearly. Oh, y'all, the light just in this deck sometimes reflects too much. Okay. I promise I'm going to get my brain focused for you. The Chariot card always speaks to things coming through that you have put into play in the past. It's a very self-help, Chicken Little. I did the work myself. I went through it. Things will eventually come through. And sometimes we don't know when they're coming through, right? Because it's divine timing. Interesting thing about this deck is that these two horses are going in two different directions. Can we see that? So again, on top of this Cancerian energy that I think can sometimes feel like going in two separate directions, one in all the feels, one in all the practicality. On top of this Mercury pre-shadow of like, what? I already sent that email. I already told you this. Why is this not being understood, so to speak? That the theme of this week is, I think, going to be trying to get focused and trying to get things to go in one direction, in the same direction, and not getting pulled apart by it. Because that's where Mercury retrograde goes wrong, right? Is that things are off, they're frustrating, they're challenging, they're more challenging than usual to get communicated or to get done, right? And so then we just get pissed and we're like, are we not supposed to be doing this? So this week, things are in motion to come through for you, but they may feel wild and woolly, and you may feel like, wait, that one, why is this one going this direction? That one's going that direction. You need to grab the reins and be focused on what direction do you want the cart to really go for the long term. So there's so much too about visualization and focus and manifestation. There's a lot of energy at play. There's compression, condensing, pushing, like trying to make that damn diamond. That's not comfortable because the piece of coal is like, what did I do to you guys, right? We've got to stay focused. And it's like being very zen in the middle and holding on to the reins. When one starts to veer off this way, you just nudge it back in, right? That one veers off, you nudge it back in. And if one tries to take off, you got to, nope, this is where we're going. So I think this is calling us this week, one, saying that there are blessings on the way. There are things coming through for you. Stay focused, have faith, surrender. But that the functional physical doing of it is going to take a little extra effort in order to keep it on track, because otherwise, one pulls too off to the side, then it breaks whatever's connecting it to the chariot, right? And then you've got no wheels and it's not in motion. So be really focused this week about where you want things to go, and try to be in your most zen place to guide them and to drive them, because they are going to wander or veer off. And some of it's just, is it a test? Is it a challenge? It just is. Just handle it. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't release the reins. Don't let it get too far out of bounds, because that's going to break the cart. Okay? So this is the theme of the week. If you have to nail it down, stay focused, handle your shit, stay calm, be in a very zen place. Just put it back on track. Put it back on track. Okay? So next steps in this week for our highest and greatest good. So this is an interesting one, right? This is 9 of Swords. So there's a lot of conversation and discussion about feeling anxious, depressed, sad, in particular in the last few weeks. And I shared my experiences with those with you all also. Some of you are still in this space. Oh, yay. Bye, Vanessa. I'll see you later. Okay. So this is the next best steps for our highest and greatest good is really getting over our false fears. 9 of Swords is about false fears, the things we stay up at night thinking about and worrying about, the things that keep us awake, right? Our fears are often the shadows of things that have never happened, or the shadows of things that are past and aren't supposed to happen again or won't be happening again. But where our attention goes, energy flows. So if we remain stuck in our fears, then that is what generates and manifests and magnetizes in our life. So the next best step for our highest good is really getting past these things that we're afraid of that are just bouncing around in our heads. They are either reflections of the past, they are memories of the past, but they are not the now or the future, right? And so this is what worry is like putting money in the bank for the things you don't want to have happen. Yes, we need to be aware of what we don't want. That is a cognitive, conscious, intelligent thing to have happen. But spiraling there and letting it keep us up at night, letting it keep us from making things better, making forward progress, experiencing joy and pleasure in this lifetime, the goal. This is actually one of the major challenges of a human incarnation. Are you going to let the 3D, like fear factor, drive and harness your life? Or are you going to put it back on course and go, it's a little rough right now, but we're going to have hope and faith in the future. And we're going to do all the tiny, mighty things. And we're going to find joy where we can. And we're not going to let the fear and the imaginative brain take over and capsize things. Okay? So there is, Kayla, a lot of being stuck in our heads right now, trying to find solutions and trying to fix things. 9 of Swords, I often describe it as like being a little kid in bed and you see a really scary monster and it's a shadow, right? Somebody finally comes in and turns on the light and it's a hanger with a weird mitten and like an, shrunken sweater. Yeah, it totally looked creepy, but is it? No, it's like odd things that don't even belong there anymore. Clean out the closets, so to speak. Okay, so the next best step this week for us, for our highest and greatest good. 1, it does denote that there are going to be or could be some challenges since this is a general reading. 2 are fear and our anxiety, which can be sadness and depression, and the spiral and getting stuck there. And our challenge is, can we step through that? Can we work with it? Can we love it and accept it and go, that's part of a human life, but I'm not going to let it drive the bus. Okay, how do we do that? We do that through self-care and the cultivation of self-love. And self-love, eventually, the practice of it cultivates unconditional self-love and faith in the future and faith in divine spirit. So it's really about self-care tactics. What do you need in order to feel safe and comfortable in this moment? Not what's going to soothe or cover it up. It's not about a pint of ice cream, right? Do you need to journal? Do you need to meditate? Do you need a tarot reading with me? Do you need a therapist? Do you need a new therapist? Do you need a community group to connect with? What do you need for the highest evolvement of your soul in this incarnation? How do you need to support yourself right now? You have the answers. You just may need the time and the space for the answers to become clearer so that you can take action on them, okay? This is where we're really focusing on what do we need, right? And how can we best support ourselves? Do we need more time alone to rejuvenate and replenish? Do we need more time on the mat so that we're not sitting in these anxious, depressive energies? Being on the mat really does improve the capacity to handle things and to have hope and potential. Yes, there's endorphins involved. Use them. And it also just has this empowered feeling of I just did that. I'm in connection and empowered. Now I'm going to go do this, right? Or physical body. So we have to make these connections. I really genuinely believe until you're physically embodied and connected in your own body, you can't really make real change in a 3D world because you don't understand how to connect to it. If it's all cerebral, or even if it's all feely, it's still not hitting the concrete. It has to be tangible and actionable at some point. Okay? Okay. Biggest step towards our highest and greatest good this week. Ace of Swords. You guys, this light is what's happening on these light cards. And I can't. Can you see that? Super zoom. Okay, so here it is. It's the Ace of Swords. Okay, on Instagram. Let's see. Can you all see? Yes, if I get really close. There you go. Okay. So, Ace of Swords. Aces are temporary opportunities. Swords are about intellect, acumen, and thought process and our thinking patterns. So midweek this week offers us a temporary opportunity to really make changes in the way we're thinking. Okay, and this is hope and potential. Often the Ace of Swords isn't a gift from God, right? A gift from the ethers, an idea out of nowhere. I don't know, I just kind of came into my brain. That's not cognitive discernment that you did that. That's creative flow that the universe is dropping in as a gift. Okay, the Ace of Swords is also the sword of peace, I think. So that, if we think peaceful thoughts, if we think productive things, then we're going to be feeling those things, and that allows us to bring them into fruition in the world. So our thought process and programming, this is why I added and why the meditation is available on the site, is what's driving the bus. But deeper than the cognitive thinking, it's our subconscious thinking. And how do you pattern that subconscious thinking? Meditation, by doing all the productive things, the affirmation work, the cancel work that we talked about last week, I think. So there's a real opportunity to step through the threshold of fear and anxiety and depression and panic that's been coming up simply because of timing. and being aware of the random thoughts that pop into your head. These are often the pieces. These are the signs, the symbols, and the omens to follow for the highest and greatest good. So that there is real potential for the shifting of how we think and how we function this week. That's beautiful. Okay. Assets to the situation. Well, they don't go hand in hand, right? Ace of Wands. Okay, so Ace, another temporary opportunity. So this is about timing. So there's some auspicious, blessed timing this week. I'll show that one on Instagram, and then there's just my hand on YouTube. Wands are about bravery and courageousness. They're also willpower, right? It's very masculine energy. It's solar energy. It's very summertime energy. So the assets to the situation is the season, the high solar capacity of willpower and drive, because there is a time for willpower, right? There is a time for stepping ahead, for pushing out a little bit, right? We're always looking for balance between the receiving and the listening and the intuition and the cognitive thinking, doing, pushing, and setting things out in the world. So this is telling us that the season is a benefit to us, that all of this solar energy really can drive some things. This is also Ace of Wands, because it's like being thrust out of the clouds, is a gift from the universe. It's like it's giving you a little extra boost of power this week. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to fight? Where are you? I see it as like, are you going to take the stick? Is there something you need to go fight, right? Maybe you do. Maybe you need to protect something right now, okay? Or it's like taking the flag and putting your flag on the ground. I'm claiming this. This is what I stand for. This is what I teach. This is what I do. This is why I'm here. Anybody that this flag speaks to, this is your place. Okay, so there's a benefit of willpower and solar energy this week. Use it. Wow, I didn't realize this. Okay, outcome of the week. Ace of Cups. So ace. So temporary opportunities. So this is a window, right, in the astrology. This is a window in the energetics, maybe not particular to the astrology. Ace of Cups. Cups is about love, right, and emotions and flow and connected flow. But I always look at the Ace of Cups as the restoration of faith, and the restoration of faith in miracles, believing that the flow of the universe is not just for everybody else. Because as unicorns, you'd be like, I totally believe that. I believe that. And yet you don't believe it for yourself, because these are the self wounds and the traumas that we still have to heal in order to move forward in, right? So the Ace of Cups tends to show up where we are in a very low space, where we feel like we're fighting to get things to go the way we want them to go. And it says, hang in there. You're not alone. The universe has your back. You have guides, guardian angels, and your higher self. You have, Christ consciousness, the universe, divine spirit, goddess, however you want to communicate and attach words to that, right? They're all behind you. But sometimes you got to do the hustle and the work to keep things on track. Sometimes you're being challenged. Are you going to be a good steward of the things that you want? And that there will be potentially big, but maybe just small things that remind us that there's a blessing and there's a little little miracles, right? Having somebody show up with a coffee for you in a reusable cup, that you're like, oh my God, I didn't think I was going to have time to do that today. Or, just look for the small miracles, but also know, right? All the aces. So crazy, Christine. I mean, I was like, whoa, there's 3 of them. Okay. So there's a lot of opportunity here to step through to new and fresh and better and different. Be clear that we're on the cusp of eclipse season, which is exactly what that means. They will happen in July, right? And so these big portals of transformation and change, we're looking at them on the tiny scale. We're looking for them in the tiny bits, because the real transformations happen at an energetic level. What are you thinking? What do you expect? What are you focusing on? What's the internal dialogue? Yes, we want the external dialogue to match. Of course we do. But sometimes we've got the external dialogue down, but all those other inside pieces are still brewing a bunch of junk that we don't want. So this week offers miracles, the restoration of faith, because little tiny things show up and you go, okay, I hear you. This morning on our walk to the grocery store, there was an empty bottle. It was chemical cleanser. It was called Sparkle. And I saw it and I was like, that to me was a reminder to sparkle in weird and odd places and always show up as your shiniest and as your unicorn self, right? Being a unicorn is about your unique sparkle and shine. That some people think that unicorns are mythical beasts. There's a little bit to say in the history books that they might have been real. Narwhals are real. There's, why not have a horse with a horn grown out of their head? So this play of like always show up as your best self, even if it feels like it's in false places or weird places, like this is the truth of a human life, trying to find the magic in the mundane, right? We are the magic in the mundane. A soul, a life is the magic. So how many ways can we sparkle this week? Really keep things on track. Step through what are we really afraid of? A lot of opportunity for change and healing this week. The spirit in which to move through things, I mean, come on. Hello, it's manifest. Okay, so whenever this card comes up, I giggle because it's kind of one of those cards I call the asshole cards, where you're like, that's not really helpful. It's just saying, just do it. And sometimes you do just need to do it. But I think that this card goes with this card. When the internal vibration is correct, things will start to appear and start to happen. And look for the manifestations in small places. Or are you expecting negative things to happen? Watch those manifestations also, right? Okay, so just be in play that there are miracles at hand. I think they're tiny and mighty potential and possibility this week. Check your astrological natal chart. I think there's some transitions there, that you might keep an eye on. I'm not going to say a whole lot. Cancer and Capricorn, just keep eyeballing them. But the spirit in which to move through this week is, what do you want to manifest? It really goes with the Chariot card. What's the focus? What's the point? Where do you want to get to? Then just handle the day-to-day bullshit to get to where you're going. Does that make sense? That was a little clear. Okay, and the goddess this week. This is Green Terra. Start delegating. Ooh, ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything your damn self. Talk about self-care and unicorn tactics. This continues to be the biggest one. I can still fall into this category too, of not asking for help. We're not supposed to do everything by ourselves. It's not possible. It's not the goal. Cancer energy, where it goes wrong, is the martyr. I do everything for everybody and I love everybody so much, nothing comes back to me. That is not the great mother. That is the great martyr, right? So this is about asking for help. Okay, so if you do feel like, I don't have anybody to ask for help, honestly, like I'd have to pay for their help and I don't have the resources to do that. This is where, and the card says it, call on Green Terra. This is where there's a prayer and a meditation or a mala and you're like, look, I've never done this before. I don't even know if this works, but I'm going to throw this out in the universe. I need some help with this, this, and this. Green Terra, please help me. That's enough sometimes, is to ask for help, right? Sometimes on your knees, we're like, I don't know what I need to do. I feel like I've been trying everything. So universe, I'm open to solutions and I need your help. Okay, let's read Green Terra. Message from Green Terra. When you feel resentment in your heart because you're carrying more than your share of the load, you're doing no favors for anyone, including yourself. Is this card for me this week? You need to ask for help to ensure that you have private time for contemplation and rest. One of the reasons why I'm able to sit so peacefully is that I know the secret of true productivity. It doesn't come through struggle or strife. Rather, it comes from a clear and focused mind that's unchallenged by indecisiveness. You see, making decisions is the shortest route to your triumphant passages. Once you make up your mind, the rest follows quite naturally. I therefore urge you to sit quietly and follow the footsteps of your mind. Be open to your heart's meanderings. They will quietly lead you to make your most important decisions, and the rest will fall into place. Various meanings of this card. Don't try to be a superwoman or a superman. Give your children chores. I do that one. Ask your partner for help. I do that one too. Accept assistance as it's offered to you. Release guilt or the belief that it's weak to ask for help. Be a team player. Tara is a Hindu and Buddhist goddess whose name means star in the ancient Sanskrit language. Her many personality and aspects are represented by different colors. Green Terra is known for being a speedy helper who offers emergency aid and provides rapid understanding of situations and relationships. She rescues us by empowering us to save ourselves. Let's talk about some good mama Cancer energy there, right? That's good stuff, y'all. I also feel like this, when the Chariot feels off track, things are going wayward, and you're trying to get control and refocus and stay focused on the outcome. Like, instead of, just pulling on the reins, you may need to holler at somebody to help, to keep the horses in line, to keep the cart moving forward. Okay? There is, this energy of summer is amplified and it's hot. It doesn't necessarily feel sped up, but it does feel intensified. What is it, like broiler heat? Like where the heat's just coming from the top. It's like, instead of it being like steam heat from all the way around. There's an energetic frequency shift this week, and it came with the summer solstice, right? And so summer we can love because it's vibrant. It is supposed to be more playtime. This is reaping the benefits of what you planted in the spring. But because of the astrology and the energetics at play, we've been offered 3 portals, temporary opportunities to step through to something bigger and better. Healing, okay? That you may need some help, because healing isn't pretty. And so anytime that there's a lot of sadness, a lot of depression and anxiety, then you do need to ask for help and support. And that just may be, I need somebody to hang out with my kids for an hour so that I can go meditate, so I can take a bath, so I can journal, so I can just collect my thoughts and then move forward with things. Chris, you pulled the Ace of Wands this morning. Chris, you seem to be very on track energetically with these readings, a lot. There's a lot of portals. There's a lot of opportunity to heal, and we're stepping into eclipse season. So without it being epic, I do these readings as an offering for you all to go, here's what to look out for. Here's the way to use it. Things will feel multi-layered and like multitasking, like a little cuckoo this week, I think. But if we ask for help, if we just try to stay calm in our centered self, that's the whole point of getting on the mat, of meditating, of having foods that fit your food code, is that you are capable of responding rather than reacting to things, and it keeps the level down even when there is chaos and movement around you that's trying to pull you off track. Mercury retrograde season will do that anyhow, because you're like, what? Why did I go to the wrong person? Because how are you going to handle that? How can you laugh it off? How can you roll with it? So rather than sense of humor right now, because sometimes that comes up, I think this is about being in our Zen, empowered, like female, unique unicorn space of, I see that. I'm going to do what I can to help that. Can't help that right now. I'm going to ask for help on that one. And really, how well can you? Multitasking is fake, right? It doesn't really exist. So it's not about how well can you multitask. It's how well can you handle things calmly, efficiently, with care, asking for help. Okay? It's an interesting week. It always is, but things are feeling bigger. And that's no surprise because we're coming up on eclipse season. So with that, this reading is complete, and I will post the picture in my Instagram feed, since that seems to be where you all like to see it best. Maybe I'll do both. When and if you see it in the feed, please comment on it. There has been a genuine shift in the algorithm. Things where they would get visibility of 100 and some likes have like 4 now. I haven't changed anything I'm doing. So the way that you can help with Unicorn Wellness and see it in your feed and keep the visibility of it in the world is to go comment on it. It would be really helpful. So this photo of your full card layout for this week, I will put in the Instagram feed so that you can go back to it, because you all said that you like to look back at it. I'll put it in the stories also. How about that? Cover all of our bases. If you want to book a personal reading with me, it's at tandygutierrez.com. That $33 card special is up and good all through June, and you can book into September and October because I think we're running out of spots for the summer. What else? Go get on the damn mat, y'all. These workouts are good right now. I love them. So, like, go get the goods and the yumminess of it to help balance all of this, because it looks like we got work to do this week, right? Like, we have opportunities and healing, and we need to be in a mindset that can receive and integrate these things, okay? So thank you all for being with me this morning. I love you all very much. If you are not yet a member of unicornwellness.studio, you can use a code on the site. There's one on the website, but TGIG19 at checkout gets you 30 days free on the site. It's a guest membership. It does roll over to the paid subscription of $32 a month. So I hope you love it and you stay. But if you don't dig it, you can go in and cancel it, and it's like zero strings. Okay, it's really where the concrete hits the road. It's where everything starts to make sense in what we're talking about and how it gets applied in your own life. Is in these workouts, in the meditations, and in the monthly readings at unicornwellness.studio. I love you guys. I love you so much. Yeah, so I'll take a photo. I'll put it up. If you all would click like on YouTube, that would be awesome. A little thumbs up on these would be fabulous. Anytime you can share this content with your friends or with the universe, you may just post it and go, I don't know who's going to see this. Somebody's going to see it. This is how we help each other's serendipity. This is how we become angels and unicorns in other people's lives. You never know who's listening and who's watching. And so if this work speaks to you and really helps you and supports you in your life, I would love for you all to share it so it can be that for others as well. Please and thank you. I love you very much. I will not see you tomorrow live, not on Tuesday this week, okay? But I will be live on Instagram on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Brianna Firestone of the School of Betty. So if you guys want to hop in, we're going to be talking about resources, time, money, and energy, which every unicorn needs to hear about and be reminded about at certain times. Okay? All right. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you Wednesday live on Instagram. Okay. Bye.